So there are different levels of indie games. You have the big names at the top, the Terrarias and the RimWorlds and Factorios and even Minecraft, sort of sitting there in the pinnacle of actually kind of progressing from being an indie game to being what we might call a mainstream game. And that's great. You kind of want to see that level of success, that level of progression, as long as they don't turn into the bad kind of game. It's good that they make it. But at the other end of the spectrum, down in the grassroots level where indie games sort of enter the community, as it were, you can find these little gems, these absolute stars that you hope will sort of progress and expand and become something successful, or at least inspire something successful. But are just really good in their own, and that's kind of a part of what this channel is about: is finding these gems and saying, everybody, look at this game, come and play this game. It's a great game. And it's really satisfying when I find something like that to show off to you guys. And I believe I found one today. This is called, as you can see, Libryinth, a combination of labyrinth and library, and by Munro. The idea of it is that it's there's a Dark Lord who has a bunch of denizens who are who seek knowledge. So he has a library. But his head librarian has been slacking of late, so the head librarian has been sent down to the mines to be eaten by a balrog or something. And you have now become the new head librarian, who needs to please at least 15 patrons to get the Dark Lord's burning gaze off of you and onto some other parts of the evil kingdom. So that is the game. That is a significant amount of lore that is more than you typically see in these sort of low-end indie games, especially those made for jams. This is for the low-res jam. So a jam that specifically wants kind of low-res pixel artwork, retro art, which is fantastic. I like to see it. But I will say, just ahead of things, that I would love to see this game remade in a more kind of, a more graphically beautiful form, using a more modern engine with sort of more up-to-date graphics, because I think this would make a fantastic, maybe a horror game with kind of intense psychological spooky stuff and jump scares, or maybe a humorous game where it's still funny but just looks good, because I think there's so much potential behind this. But enough waffling. Let's jump in and have a look at it. Here are the controls. It's the arrow keys to move around. You're moving in the cardinal directions. So if you press left, you turn 90 degrees. It's Z to interact, X to go back, and then Enter brings up the menu, which is a little odd, but it is the Pico-8 engine, Pico 8 engine, which is kind of an engine that like emulates those games from old Game Boys and other handheld consoles, where you push the cartridge into the top of it, and that your game would be loaded. I don't know what the limitations of this engine are. I don't know how much you can change the UI and things like that, but it is a good engine for this kind of game. So well, let's jump in. I'll show you the gameplay. It loads really quickly. And we can click play to run it. I've tried this on both Firefox and Chrome, and it worked absolutely fine on both of them. And the sound is off as a default. I'm going to turn the sound on for a bit, but it is really 8-bitty sound, so it's this kind of sound, which is not great, but it works. It matches the vibe and things like that, so we'll leave it on for a little bit until it becomes annoying. We also have the controls menu here. It thinks it found 4 joysticks. I have no joysticks. I don't know. This is the pause. It brings up the other menu, the sort of the default menu. We can continue, and then we can full screen it. So if we press Z to start the game, we get a brief tutorial with the arrow keys. Press Z to continue. Our objectives are to help the patrons find books, keep the library organized, and have fun if that's at all possible. And now we have the library, and so we start a step away from our first patron. We can have a look around. So there is the library. That's where all the books are, behind our starting point. On our left are the various card drawers, I suppose you call them. We have cards listed by call number, which is kind of the Dewey Decimal System of it. I'm pressing the wrong keys to move around. I'm so used to using the WASDs, but it's just the arrow keys. We have title cards, so if we can search by a book title, if we get close enough, he tells us about it. He wants a book by G. Feld. He seems to be fine with any book by G. Feld, but as a book by G. Feld, some sort of vampire or something, I guess. So we go to the author card files, and we press Z to have a look at it, and it was G. Feld. So F, it's F-E, so it's here. So if we press Z to go into it, hang on. Oh, I see. I was too far down, and I thought it was the one that was the center of the screen. It is not. It is the one that our finger is pointing at. So that makes a bit more sense. Press Z to go into it. So we get through a lot of Faust, Anchor, and Felt. G. Felt. I just picked the first one on the list. So we've gone from Fawkes to Felt G. Felt's Lark of Hell Detectives. And we can see in the bottom right of the card, it is 75S. So if we press Z on the card, we get the card. And then we can press X to get away from looking at the card, and we can turn away and move. The keys are a little bit fiddly. Before you kind of get used to them, they're a little bit different, just enough different from the usual default keys of games like this to kind of throw you off the trail a bit. So we can press X to look at the card that we picked up. 75S. So 75, which I think is down here, so up to 50s, 70, 74, there. 75A to, is that S? Oh, 79S. So this is definitely the one we want. There, 75A to S. If we look at the other ones, that's 70, that's 76. So we want 75, and we press Z to have a look at it. And we, there we, so you can see the call numbers at the bottom, D, E. We wanted S. 75 S. Felt's Lark of Hell. That was what we were looking for. So we press Z to take it. X to leave the book listing. And we go back to the front of the library. And we hand it over. Yes, that's the book, he says. And off he goes. And our queue has gone from 15 down to 14. Okay, he wants a call number. So he clearly knows what he's talking about. He wants 28S. We can have a look at the call number. We don't really need that because we can search for that. But let's have a look at the... did he say 28S? So it would be here. DEF 28S, Codex of Counseling. Alright. Did he say 28S? 28S, the Codex of Counseling. Alright. 25 to 29. So in here somewhere. 29. 28, Marital Affairs. Fair enough. Let's see if... 28S, Codex of Counseling. Alright, so we take that. Escape out. Hand it over, see if he likes it. Yes, that's the book. And we hand it over, and we're down to 13. Right, and we get various requests. There are also books that are apparently misfiled, and we get an alert that says that we can't do anything till we find the book and then put it in its correct place. And we get sort of book returns that we have to file, and so on. It's a really, really good game. There's a lot of variance in it for such a little game. Unfortunately, the game jam is, I think, at the end of its voting cycle. So, I mean, if you can catch it quickly enough, go vote, I suppose. If you think this one's worth the vote. Otherwise, just come and give the devs some love. Come play the game. The link will be in the description. I'm going to escape out and turn the sound off. And that's all the gameplay I'm going to show. So if you're just here for the gameplay, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Come and check out the Patreon if you want to join the community. I don't have any paid memberships there yet. I need to set all of that up, but I'm trying to gather information on what people want from paid memberships and that kind of thing, to make sure that I give value for money, as it were. But otherwise, a subscribe, a like, a comment here in YouTube would be more than ideal. So I would appreciate that. But yeah, come join the community if you want to talk about some of the videos we'd like to see, the games we'd like to see showcased, and that kind of thing. Anyway, so that is all the gameplay elements. We are now onto the critique. So if you are here for the critique, well, there's not too many details I'm going to give. I mean, this is deliberately a retro styling game for a game jam. That is the context we need to bear in mind. The things I'd like to talk about, the UI I think is defined pretty much by the Pico 8 engine. I don't know how much variance you can put into it there, but it's a pretty good UI. So I'm going to stand in front of this person, so maybe I can get a nice thumbnail out of it. Let's maximize the screen. So I don't know how much variance can be in there. I would like a few more sound controls. And while we're talking about that, the sounds themselves, again, they're very 8-bitty, they're very retro. I don't really like that much. I don't feel much nostalgia for those old sounds. Possibly because I remember them as being better quality. The sort of memories have refined them up a bit. So I'd much rather hear more modern music, more modern sound effects. The soft flap of pages and those kinds of things. Again, I don't know if the Pico 8 engine allows better sound files to go in. I assume it does, even though that's not the kind of the trend, the requirements here. But sounds are a complex thing. They talk to us viscerally, on a subconscious level, like sense. So I think better sounds would be a nice step forward for this game. The art, again, the art is really nice, really cool retro art. It is for this game jam styling. It's great. It's still a hell of a fun game regardless of what the art is, and I think that's why this is such a gem, because it is so much enjoyable, even with the sort of the pixelated artwork. But I would love to see this in a modern engine. I would love to play this and see it expanded into one of those horror games, like the one where you got to sort of get the right dolls and dump the dolls that are evil and those kinds of things. I think this idea of a Dark Lord's library, and a library of an evil lord and some kind of evil lair, would be, I think, such an incredible game to play, especially if you're just some kind of local snatched from a nearby village who is now forced to try and endure and survive the Dark Lord's realm and still be a worthwhile librarian. That would be an incredible game, and I think this is kind of a tease of that, a promise of that. So, developer, if you're into using more modern engines, have a look at that idea. I think it would do well. But yeah, otherwise the art is fantastic. The art is pretty much suited to the vibe, to the theme, and I can definitely see what's going on. So it's great. And I mean, my critiques on the gameplay and the general immersion and things like that, I don't really have much to talk about there. The library looks great. I like the card filing system. I don't know how close that is to the modern day system. It's not quite Dewey Decimal, but it is. This is actually a map of the various columns. Is there anything interesting at the back of the library here? No, we can't use these doors. We can't go through them at all. We are forbidden. No, it's great. It's great. I love the stuff that has been done with this game. I love the layout. I love the storyline. I just want to see more of it. I want to see it expanded on. I want to see more interesting things happening, and more game. And when that's the strongest critique you can give of a game, that's a damn good game. So come and play it. Link is in the description. And that's it from me. I hope you enjoy this. I hope the developer is pleased by my brief showing of the game, and I hope people come and play it. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.